want to hear, but it must.
Everyone, I'm going to tell you about a fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, I want to hear. It must be interesting and good.
Oh, that's good. I will start. Hansel and Gretel. Once upon a time, in the faraway forest, there lived a poor woodcutter, his new wife, and two young children. The boy's name was Hansel and the girl was called Gretel. Unfortunately, their mother died to illness. Every day, Hansel and Gretel are always sad to remember their mother. Because the father did not want his children to continue to be sad, finally the father decided to remarry. However, it turns out that the stepmother has a bad character. Since then, Hansel and Gretel's life became very bad. The woodcutter was so poor that the family had very little food to eat. The stepmother hated the fact that they were so poor, and she did not like stepchildren at all. One night, the woodcutter wife said, "We better take the children to the forest and leave them there, because the food supply has run out. I don't want us all die of hunger," suggests the stepmother for her husband. Apparently, the father agreed with wife said. Hansel and Gretel hear all the parents' conversation. Gretel starts to cry. Her brother Hansel comforted her. "We don't want to live in the forest," they said to each other. So the clever children came up with a plan to save themselves. Late that night, Hansel sneaked out and collected many tiny pebbles in his pockets. The next morning, as the woodcutter took them to the middle of the forest, Hansel dropped pebbles all along the way. When their father left them, all they had to do was follow the line of pebbles back home. The woodcutter and his wife were surprised to see the children back home. She is very obsessed that the way back. We must take them again tomorrow," stepmother said. Hansel and Gretel were very worried now. All our pebbles are gone. What do we do now? They worry. "I have an idea," said Hansel. "We can drop breadcrumbs this time." So the next morning, when the woodcutter took the children deep inside in the forest, the children dropped crumbs all along the way. But sadly for the children, the animals and birds had eaten up all the crumbs. Now Hansel and Gretel walk and walk, but couldn't their way back home. Suddenly, they saw a strange house made of candy, cookies, and everything delicious. Hansel and Gretel could not believe their eyes. The house looked incredible house, and the kids forget all about how they tired. The way and start to looking around the house. The children were so hungry. They start to eating her yummy door. There was a voice inside. Hansel and Gretel did not know that the house belonged to an witch. Hansel and Gretel do not know that the house belonged to an old witch with an eye steam, and she loved to eat little children. She pounced on them and locked them there. "I shall fatten you up and eat you," she said with a wicked laugh. Ha 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 ha. The wicked witch locked Hansel in a cage. She turned to the Gretel and said, "You, a little girl, help me like the oven. When it is hot, I shall cook your brother and eat him up." Poor Gretel was so afraid. Gretel quickly of a plane to save her brothers. Just as the witch bent to check if the oven was hot, she gave her a kick from behind. The witch fell into the oven. With a scream, and Gretel quickly locked the oven door with the witch inside. Gretel rescued Hansel, and the two children filled their pockets with all the witch's jewels. Finally, they managed to find way back home. After that, they see father at the porch and looking miserable because his wife had died. Hansel and Gretel give all the jewels to their father. "My dearest children, I'm so happy you both are alive. I'm sorry for letting you go." They told their father about the evil witch and how they got her treasure. "I'm so happy, my kids. Come back safe. I will never live alone now, thanks to the clever children," said their father. The woodcutter and his family were never poor or hungry and happily ever after. The end. What do you think about my story?
Wow, so marvelous. Yeah, good. Good.
Okay, you can say bye. Bye.